Hi everybody, welcome back to the BizTech Academy's Excel Beginners course. This is lesson 4, and in lesson 4 we'll be manipulating values using Excel functions. These functions are really exciting and they make your life a lot easier when using Excel. If at the same time, we'll also continue our project, Tokyo Inc., and we'll complete the data analysis, ready for the next lessons of formatting, preparing charts, and then printing and sharing. If you do like the video, of course, it'd be great if you could give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and also press the alert button. But in the meantime, let's crack on. Okay, as you can see, I've opened the Tokyo Inc. workbook. You can see at the top middle here, Tokyo Inc. workbook. You'll also see that I've moved down to the bottom right corner here. That's primarily because we're going to do some work up here today and show you some actions up there. As mentioned before, we're going to input some functions into the Tokyo Inc. Project. But first of all, I'm going to do what I did in the formulas lesson, and I'm going to press the plus sign here and create a new workbook. New worksheet, I apologize. And I'm going to talk to you about formulas and how they work and how they operate. So without further ado, let's look at functions. So functions are created or have been created by Excel as automated commands, and they do many things. The most simple one, and the one that you'll probably use the most of, is the sum function, and I'll show you how that works in a moment. But in simple terms, it sums or aggregates or adds together all the numbers in a column or a range or a row. Whatever you highlight as the numbers to be calculated. But there are hundreds, if not thousands, of functions within Excel. You can see on the next to the formula bar, there's an F here, which is function, and X is just for any function. And as you see here, it says insert function. If you click on that, you can see here that there are some mostly used functions. There's an all, but if I look at the all and I just keep scrolling and keep scrolling, and keep scrolling and keep scrolling, there are hundreds, like I say, if not thousands of functions within Excel. And the way I view these is that if you start creating a workbook or a spreadsheet analysis of some work that you need to do or you want to do, and you get stuck on something that you think you want to achieve, a calculation or a particular type of analysis, I think you should say to yourself that Excel will be able to do that. Excel seems to be able to do anything. You just need to find a way of doing it. And if I get stuck, and after almost 30 years of using spreadsheets, I do sometimes find that I want to achieve something that I haven't achieved before in Excel. And if I don't know, to be honest with you, I just Google and someone will have done that, or someone will show you how to do that, and you find a way. What you'll see on the BizTech Academy or -academy.com website is a number of videos that show different types of functions, shorter videos in this course, obviously. And again, search on there, have a look on there if you need to, or the channel or the YouTube channel, and you'll find hopefully a lot of support on there as well. But if we close this particular formula builder, what we'll do now is we'll type in some numbers. So I'm going to do what I did before and just type in 1 through to 9. The first thing, like I say, we should do is we want to sum those numbers. We want to get to the total of what those numbers are. So what you could do is you could, equal cell A10 equal, and you could say A1 plus 2 plus A3 plus A4, and so on and so on and so on, until you've done all the 9 numbers. And again, when you do, you would press enter or return, and hopefully the sum is 45, and it is. But it's a long way around of doing it. And of course, if you've got hundreds or thousands of numbers, it's you wouldn't do it that way. So what you can do, you can use a sum function. And the way you would type this in, the way it works is you go equal A10 equals, and you put sum, and then you put some brackets. Now it puts some functions here, but if you want to type it in properly, you do some brackets or some parentheses, and then with your mouse, you highlight the range. So I'm highlighting A1 through to A9. I close the parenthesis. Now you don't actually need to do that. Excel will assume it wants to be closed, but for completeness sake and proper way of working, I always do and get in the habit of doing it. Press return, and it shows it's 45. So for example, again, just equal sum range, and there you go. Now, another command, if you wanted to do, for example, understand the average of those numbers. So let's undo that, let's get rid of it. It's exactly the same principle, equal, so A10 equals, and you type in average. There's a function called average. We'll open the parenthesis, highlight the range, close the bracket, or close the parenthesis, and press the return key, enter key, and there's the average. The average is 5. You could also do, so we'll undo that, you could also count the number of digits or number of values within those cells. So you could do equal count, again open the parenthesis, highlight the range, close the parenthesis, and the count is 9. We know there's 9 items there because there's 9 rows of numbers. Okay, again undo that, and if you want to do the maximum or the minimum, it's exactly the same principle. So do minimum, equal minimum, put the range in. You'd expect this to be 1 because in that range the lowest number is 1, and there it is 1. If you want to do the max, equal max, again open the parenthesis, highlight the range, and away you go. Max is 9. Perfect. And again, same principle, but there are functions that are a lot more complicated than that. When we go back to Tokyo Inc. in a little while, we're going to use the sum function. We're not going to use any of the others. But again, for reference, those sort of 5 functions that I've listed, sum, average, count, min and max, are probably the most common ones that are out there. Now, one quicker way of doing this is there is a shortcut menu here. In the top right here, you see where it says auto sum. If you just click on that, there's a number, there's the sum, the average, the count, the max and the min. And you use this by, if you're in the cell here, you're in cell A10 and you want that row of numbers summed, you could press auto sum, and Excel is clever enough to recognize there are numbers above or around that cell, and it will highlight them to make sure that's what you want. And again, press enter, and there's the sum. If you wanted the average, you'd click on the average, press enter, and there's the average. Again, the same for the count. If you want to know the count, there you go, count. The count is 9. If you then want the minimum, or maximum in this one, it's 9 again, and then the minimum is 1. And that's the basis of functions. So functions make your life easier by using single commands to achieve what you would normally take maybe 5 or 6 or multiple commands to do. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go back to the Tokyo Inc. Spreadsheet. I'll go back up the top so you can see me there, and then we'll take it to the next level, and we'll use some functions in our project. Okay, see you in a moment. Okay, so here we are with Tokyo Inc. open, and what we're going to do now is we're going to add some volume data. And we're going to take that volume data and we're going to take the total price and calculate some monthly and some annual figures for each individual product. And then what we're going to do is total those monthly and annual numbers using some of the functions or some function that we've seen a moment ago. Okay, so first of all, we'll input the headings. We're going to have volume, if I can spell correctly, and then we're going to have total monthly sales, and then we're going to have total annual sales. Oops. And that's going to be our headings. Okay, so the volume data is a manual input. I've got to input this and type it in. So if you give me just a couple of seconds, I'll do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, so as you can see, I've input the volume data, and now we're going to calculate the total monthly sales. And this volume data I've assumed here is monthly anyway. So basically, the monthly sales would be a simple calculation. It's just the total monthly volume, which is in column H here, against the total price. So from our lesson previously and looking at formulas, we would know that we go cell I4, which is where we want to start with, equals the total price, multiplied by, which is an asterisk, the total volume, and enter, and there you go. So 100 times 20 is 2,000, and we know that. And we want to copy that formula all the way down to the bottom, so we would just use our double-click autofill. We click on the cell, let the cursor go to the black cross, and then we double-click, and there's all the calculation. Now, for the annual sales, is simply the total monthly sales, and it's times 12. So again, asterisk and then 12, and that's all it is. As simple as that for this particular analysis. And again, we want to copy that down, and we double click, and there it is. It's come all the way through. Okay, I'm just going to make the screen slightly smaller just so we can use these cells here. What I want to do now is I want to sum the volume, so we know how many individual units of every product we sell at any point in time, in this time a month. We want to calculate the monthly sales, and we also want to calculate the annual sales. And what we'll do, for the first column, for the volume, we'll type this in. So if you remember rightly from when we looked at the sum function a moment ago, we do equals sum, parenthesis, and then we highlight the range that we want to total up, which is the volume, and then we press enter, and there's the total volume. Okay. For the total monthly sales, right, what we'll do is we'll use the auto one, and we know auto sum will do it. It should hopefully be able to pick up this particular range. So we'll click on that, we'll press auto sum, and as you can see it does it automatically, and we press enter. Now just one other thing, that's an automatic thing that Excel did, I wanted to remove that. The other thing that I wanted to show you is that of course we are using the same formula across these cells, and if you remember rightly, formulas, unless you put an absolute, lock in a cell using an absolute cell, all formulas are relative. So if we copy this formula, it should just copy across and then calculate this range of cells. So if we click on to the calculation, the formula, we know the formula is here because we can see it in the formula bar, and we do our Command or Control C, we go to the cell and we do our Command or Control V, and you can see if I double click on it, it's summed up all of that column, and that is a function there that has calculated that automatically, which is you know, of course, very, very useful and a real shortcut and makes your life a lot easier. Okay, that's basically it for this lesson. What we will move on to next is lesson 5 and formatting. We've basically now created all of the analysis we want to do, all the numbers. We've looked at the product cost. We've added a markup to it. We've added shipping cost to it to get a total price. We've then input some volumes, and based on those monthly volumes, we calculated total monthly sales and an annual sales. So the analysis is done, which is great. That's what's been asked of us, and we've achieved it. What we now need to do is make it look presentable, so that someone can understand it a little bit more clearly than it's presented today, and then add a couple of charts to make the analysis a little clearer, and then prepare it for printing and for sharing. Okay, that's it. So again, if you enjoyed the video, it'd be great if you could give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, press the alert for more videos, and I'm looking forward to joining you in the next lesson. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.